Hi there, Scott Peterson from Durazio Peterson here with another episode of the New York Injury Law Show. The object of the show is to give you information about frequently asked questions that are coming up in the context of a personal injury case or an injury or an accident in the state of New York. And today we're talking about who represents a minor after an accident. So, a very classic example of this is a minor or an infant who is playing with a neighbor's dog. And the dog has bitten children in the past, but the neighbor hasn't done anything about it, and the neighbor bites the child. Now, these injuries can often be really very severe. We've seen injuries to children's eyes, all of the limbs, face, significant scarring, potential blindness, all kinds of problems. And the parents might think to themselves, what are we going to do about this? We want to take some action. We want to do something to protect our child into the future and deal with the potential medical issues, fallout, scarring, emotional trauma, things that come up after this kind of an event. But the thing you have to understand is that the claim in this kind of a case is not the parent's claim, it's the child's claim. Obviously, a child cannot represent themselves in court. So who does? Well, the parent typically does. And in that scenario, the parent would be able to bring an action on behalf of the child and would be able to litigate the case as though it were the parent's injury themselves. The issue comes up, or the complication to some degree comes up, towards the end of the case, if the case is settled or resolved in favor of the child and the child receives some kind of a settlement or a verdict after trial. If the child receives a settlement, the parent must petition the Supreme Court to approve the settlement on behalf of the child. The idea being that this is the child's case and we want to make sure that the settlement is in the best interests of the child. Now, typically, if the parent is advocating for the child and the attorney has advocated for the child and both submit paperwork to the court suggesting that they believe that the settlement is in the best interest of the child, the court will typically approve that. The court also has to approve the fee paid to the attorneys. And one of the things that comes up often is, well, what do we do with the money? Well, let's say that there's a significant recovery for the child. Let's say that that number is a couple of $100,000, $200,000. Well, parents don't want to just put that money in a bank account because it won't grow. Often what we do in cases involving children is we'll set up a structured settlement or some type of an annuity, which will allow the money to be placed in a insured or protected investment type account, which will allow the money to grow over time and which will often allow the child to receive lump sum payments throughout the course of his or her life as they get older. Practically, this may look like the child turning 18 and getting a lump sum of $25,000 or $50,000, and another lump sum at 21, and another lump sum at 25, and another lump sum at 30. The structure can be one of many different types of setups, but the significant part of it is that the child doesn't need the money now. The child needs the money later. And if you allow that money to grow over time, you can take a couple of $100,000 settlement and make that into almost $1 million. So this is important to remember as parents of children who get hurt. Your job is to do the best thing for your child and to advocate for your child. And if you find yourself in a situation where you think the child might have legal recourse, it's important to talk to an attorney. Sometimes the best course is to wait and see how the child's injuries play out. Sometimes the best course is to move forward right out of the gate. You don't know that until you sit down and talk with an attorney about how to best handle the situation. We routinely represent children and families of children in these types of cases. And if you have questions about them, we're happy to talk. Feel free to contact us today. Thanks.